everyone, my name is Z, and today we are talking about preferences. So, Harmony is a big software, there's a lot of different things you can do in it. So today I'm just going to focus on making it easier to work within the software. So let's dive into the preference window. To find your preferences, just go to Edit, Preferences. If you're on a Mac, you have to click like on Harmony Premium, and then there's going to be like Preferences somewhere there. I forgot. Then you go to Preferences, and you have a lot of things to customize. So it's easy to get lost, especially when you first open the software, okay? So let's say you're all new, you don't know what's going on with the world. So you just open this, what do you do now? One thing that you really want to have is an autosave. So to activate it, you just click on here, Save Scene Automatically. And then you can change the interval. Honestly, when I do heavy compositing or heavy rigging or heavy cutout animation, I'll usually set my interval to 5 minutes because I really want to save all the time. If I'm doing things that is a bit less important, I'll set it to like 15 or something. So the inactivity interval seconds, this is how many seconds the software will wait when you lift your pencil from the screen before saving. This is a very great thing because it prevents Harmony from crashing. Some other softwares don't have this feature, and sometimes when you're drawing and then whoop, there's a autosave thing that pops up and then it crashes your scene because you were drawing at the same time, right? So this is what prevents Harmony from doing that. So that's great. I usually leave it to 1 and that's okay. Oh, that's exactly what it is. So you see here, this avoids the user being in the middle of some operations to being disturbed by the autosave. So pretty cool. Then you have the ask before saving. I know that it's tempting to remove it because I know that it's annoying when you're working like bloop, Harmony's like, hey, you really want to save right now, and you're like, oh my god, I was in the zone. But it's only for your own good, so I would still activate it. And this is because, let's say that you don't ask before saving. You're working on your animation, you like it, you save, and then you want to keep going on it, and you're like, if I don't like it, I'll just close it without saving and get back to what I had previously saved. Great. But then as you keep working, it's been more than 15 minutes, so Harmony saves in the background without you knowing it. So then you look at your animation and you're like, ugh, what did I do? And then you close it, and when you reopen it, Harmony saved without telling you because that's what you asked. So don't come crying if Harmony messes up your scene because you deactivated the ask before saving. So as annoying as this little bugger is, it's a lifesaver and it's there for your own good. So activate it. You'll thank me later. And then another thing that is great to change is the focus on mouse enter. So if you don't know what this is, it's pretty great. So I have it active at all times. So whenever I travel to a different view, it will activate it without me having to click in it. If it wasn't active, I would need to physically click inside the window to have it active, which to me is a pain. I hate it. But some of my friends prefer this because they say they have more control, which is totally legit. And by the way, if you're using a Cintiq, be careful because I teach a lot and this always happens to my students. If you have the focus and mouse enter active and you're working, if you have a setup like this where you have like your Cintiq in your drawing or something like that, and then you have your keyboard here. So when you're drawing with your stylus on your screen, that's a hand, by the way. Each time you take your stylus down to go get a shortcut, I'm gonna show you what it does. Your stylus will go down physically. So sometimes you can go down and without knowing, you activate the timeline view. This just means that whatever shortcut, whatever thing you're gonna do will work into the timeline. So that's when it can get annoying. But honestly, you just have to learn that when you work, you just have to, instead of doing this, you actually lift your pen and you move it. Like honestly, it becomes second nature. So it's only annoying when you just start with the software. So that's why I'm telling you, in case you wonder why you're always messing up your shortcuts, this might be it. But I always activate it just because it's way quicker and way funnier to work with. Other things that are really important, we have default separate positions for peg. I always activate it because most of what I do requires separate positions for peg. This is very important for rigging because if your rig doesn't have separate positions for peg, you're in big trouble. Most of the pegs I use need to be separate, so that's why I use this. And then if I need to have a 3D path peg, I can just do it like on the spot. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go on my channel and search for separate and 3D path pegs and you'll have a video explaining it. Then you have the stop motion keyframes. You can check it or uncheck it if you want. Usually I leave it unchecked because I always want my keyframes to be tweened. And this is because if I go to my timeline toolbar here and I right click here, I go to customize, I always use a very useful feature here called the stop motion keyframe mode, this thing. So I'm just going to click on it, bring it to my timeline. I will also bring it up because I use it all the time. I'll press OK, and what this will do is even if in my preferences it's set to motion keyframes, which means that when I do 2 keyframes like this, it will always be in between in the middle. But then if I want to add a key pose or something, I can just click here on stop motion keyframe mode. And after that, all the keyframes I will create will be stop motion. Now the reason why this one here wasn't in stop motion and it was actually tween is because yes, I created a new keyframe, but it's like this one is set to stop motion, so like the one that follows will not be tween. But this one was created as a tweened, so that's why it tweens to the new ones that I do. But after that, the next one will be stop motion. And then if I remove this little thing, it goes back to being tweened. So this is basically like a trigger so that you don't have to constantly go back to your preferences and change this. All right, this is one of my favorite features. It's a shame that it's hidden, but now I'll show you how to take it. So enjoy. So that's it. If you want to feel fancy like me, you can go to edit colors. And this is how I get my lovely blue tints. And that's why some of my keys are different. So my keys are blue, and that's just because I like it better than red. I think red is too hard on my eyeballs. You can go to edit colors, and there's many things you can edit there. However, listen to me. It's not good to change every stupid color in that window, okay? There are some things that are harmless. Like if you want to go like to your timeline and change the color of a stop motion keyframe, for example, this is harmless. This is okay. I don't advise to change all of these colors because then your harmony will look weird. Nobody will know what's going on with the world and you might like mess something up, right? But you know, stop motion keyframe is pretty fun to change. You can also go into the camera and change what the clear is. The clear is the background color here. So if you know that you always want to have like white or something, you can go here and it will also change it. You will only see the update once you press OK. And OK here. So then this will be white. I don't like it because it burns my eyeballs, and also I never know if I have a color card or not, so I don't like it. I prefer to keep it gray, but you know, some people prefer to have it white because it's like a sheet of paper. So I'm gonna go here, set it back to a light gray, and it'll be good. And then the other one that I do like to change is my current view border. That's why I set it to cyan. It's the border of your window, just so you know. And that's it for general. Now I'm gonna go to advanced and show you a little bit of useful options. So of course, if you know what they are, support overlay and underlay art, this is really cool. These are your little art layers here, or art level as I call them. Advanced display, what this does, if you're familiar with the display node, that little thing here, you do know that you can have multiple ones in your scene. So usually you have the display toolbar here that allow you to go between, to change between displays, right? But then you can have one for each view. So you could have multiple camera views, which like each their own display that you see, which could be useful. So just so you know, this is here. I don't need it, so I'm not going to activate it. And then the most important one, element node, animate using animation tools default value. Take this and make sure that it's set to off because you don't want to be able to put keyframes on your drawings. Okay, so make sure that it's set to off. So then any new layer that I create, like this drawing layer here, I will not be able to keyframe this one. See, I cannot put keyframes because I can't animate this. If I want to animate it, I need to put a peg, and then I'll be able to keyframe the peg, but not the drawing. Because you never want to put keyframes on your drawing. It's evil. Alright, so I hope you had fun, and that these preferences are going to help you in your work.